For me, there are really just 3 essential knives I use regularly. Today, I'll show you the basics on how to best choose, use, and care for each one. Hey, I'm Kelly, a culinary producer at Tasty, and these are my 3 favorite knives. The first knife I want to talk to you guys about is the chef knife. It's where I really suggest you invest your money since it's what you'll be using on a daily basis. There's 2 types of chef's knife. There's a Western style and a Japanese style. The Western style has a bellied blade, which makes it easier for the rocking motion when you're chopping. It also is a thicker steel, which is going to make it hold up more over time, but it is a little bit heavier in your hand. The second knife is a Japanese style knife. As you can see, it's a straight edge blade, which is better if you like to do the chopping up and down motion. It is made of a lighter steel, which makes it sharper, but it is prone to chipping. Out of these 2 options, I prefer the Western style knife because I like to use the rocking motion when I chop. But at the end of the day, I really want you to choose what feels right for you. Before you get to chopping, the first thing you need to do is make sure that your knife is actually sharp. You can either take it to get professionally sharpened, you can use an electric sharpener, or you can use the stone like I'm going to show you today. This is a sharpening stone. There's 2 types of grits. There's a higher count and a lower count. You want to start at the lower count to really get it sharp, and then you just want to get it really wet so your knife will easily glide across the stone. And then you're going to hold it at a 15-degree angle and pull it towards you as you're sharpening. You just want to gently glide it across the stone. So you want to do this about 10 times per side, depending on how dull or sharp your knife is. Then get it wet again and do the other side. So now that I've sharpened it on the coarser grit, I'm just going to turn it over and do it on the finer part. This is like gently just making our knife perfect. So after you've done that, you just want to wipe it off and clean off any grit that's left over on your blade, and you're good to go. So in between sharpenings, you want to use this honing steel. A lot of people might think it's to sharpen your knife, but it's actually used to maintain your knife. It helps realign the blade's edge in between sharpenings. So what you want to do is hold this steel horizontal and then hold your knife in the other hand in a vertical position, and at a 15-degree angle, just bring it down, just like we did with the sharpening. And then do the back side. Now that our knife is sharp, let's get to cutting. So what you want to do is put your thumb on one side of the blade and your index finger on the other side. Then you're going to wrap your 3 remaining fingers around the handle, and you'll notice that you have a really good grip. You'll feel in control, and it will almost feel like an extension of your arm. So you do not want to have a flat hand like this. You will chop your fingertip off. What you want to do is create a nice claw that will guide the knife and keep your fingers safe. The first thing I'm going to show you how to do is rough chop an onion. Its name is exactly what it means. We're just going to roughly chop it. We're not going to be precise about it. The first thing I'm going to do is chop the top of the onion off to create a flat surface. Then you're going to cut it straight down the middle from the root. Peel the onion skin off. So now that I have 1/2 of my onion, I'm going to take my knife and do about 1/2 inch slices going almost to the root. And then I'm going to take my knife and cut horizontally across the center. Lastly, I'll cut across the top the other way to create a rough chop. And here's our rough chop. The next thing I'm going to show you is the dice. This is a more precise, smaller cut that will help your food cook more evenly. So I'm going to dice a potato. And the first thing I want to do is create an even surface for my cutting. So I'm going to cut the potato down the middle and lay it flat on my board. This way it won't rock when I go to do the other cuts. Then I'm going to take my knife across the top and just create long vertical slits, trying to be as precise as possible. Lay it flat again and do one more cut down the middle. And you can see we have almost like a baton shape, and it's equal on all sides. Turn them again and go back the other way, creating about 1/2 inch pieces. And if it's easier, just do a few at a time. Start small and then you can perfect your cut. This is our dice. So all the pieces are uniform, they're a little bit smaller than the rough chop, and they look great. The last cut I'm going to show you with my chef's knife is the mince. It is the smallest type of cut you'll see in a recipe. So I'm going to show you how to do that with garlic. First, you want to take 1 clove off your bulb and use the heel of your knife to press down, and that will help remove the skin. Cut off the little stem, and then you're just going to take your knife and finally rock back and forth one way, turn that pile another way, and finally chop the other way. And if that still doesn't feel small enough for you, just go back and forth with your knife, rocking back and forth, swiping off any garlic on the blade, and keep going. So there you have it. Here are 3 cuts with our chef knife. We have a rough chop, a dice, and a mince. My next favorite knife is the paring knife. It has a shorter blade than a chef's knife, and I love it because it's great for those intricate knife cuts that you might want to do. So let me show you 3 great ways to use it. The grip on a paring knife is going to be a little bit different than a chef's knife. You're going to wrap 4 of your fingers around the base and then put your thumb right where the blade begins. You really want to hold it tight so you have precise control. Paring knives are great for coring fruits and vegetables. So for this jalapeno, I'm gonna first slice the top off and then use my knife to go around the edge to remove that white pith. I'm just gonna thinly slice it with my paring knife. So you can do this with your chef knife, but I think it's a little bit easier when it's smaller so you have more control. So to remove the seeds from a jalapeno, I'm just gonna cut it lengthwise to split in half. Then I'm gonna take the tip of my paring knife and just go along that white edge again, just to remove all of those little pieces. And if you have to go around twice, don't worry about it. And look, it comes off in one piece, and then we can just shake out all those seeds, all that spicy stuff. Paring knives are also great for removing the tops of strawberries. So you're gonna take your strawberry in one hand and your knife in the other, and just gently bring the knife across the top, using your thumbs as a base to hold it in place and remove it. And then if you want to go in and remove the core, just bring it around the center, pop it out. So another great cut a paring knife can do is segment your citrus. It's a little bit more difficult cut, but I'll show you how to make it easy. The first step to segment an orange is to cut off the top and the bottom. And this is, again, gonna create a sturdy base. So the next step is to take your paring knife at an angle and just go along the side of the orange following the pith to remove all the white part. So this type of cut is great if you're gonna use oranges in a salad or as a garnish. If you still have a little bit of white, don't worry about it. You can go back and clean it up with your knife. So all you're gonna do is take your paring knife at an angle and kind of cut down in the V motion to remove the segment. So there you have it, a perfect little slice of orange. The next cut I'm going to show you with the paring knife is a chiffonade, and I'm going to start with some basil. I'm going to take big leaves and stack them on top of each other. Try to get all the same size leaves and then roll them up from the bottom to the top in a tight fashion, kind of like a cigar. So once you have it all rolled up tightly, you're going to take your knife and just starting from the front and then going to the back, cut nice, even slices. And this is different than the rocking motion you might do with other types of chopping. You're gently pulling it back so you don't bruise the basil. So this type of cut is great to use as garnishes or even stirring into pasta sauce right at the end so you get tons of fresh basil flavor. The paring knife is a great tool to have in your kitchen. It is super versatile. But let's move on to the last knife I'm going to talk about today. I love the serrated knife. I feel like it's a little bit underrated, and I like to think of it as a kitchen saw. Its teeth on here make it super sharp and great for cutting through tough exteriors. One of the most common uses for a serrated knife is cutting bread with it. It helps get through the hard exterior without squishing the soft interior of the bread. You're gonna hold a serrated knife just like you would a chef's knife. Make sure you get a really good grip on it before you start cutting. So I have a baguette here, and I'm gonna use my serrated knife to cut it on an angle to make crostinis. So I'm just going back and forth, just like a saw, to cut through the bread, and you can see it held its shape without squishing the interior. So if I took a chef's knife to try to do this, first of all, you can see how much trouble I'm having. So you can see that this one is squished, and this one held its shape when I used the serrated knife. Serrated knives are also great for cutting through the tough skin of citrus. You don't want to use the chef's knife on citrus because the acidity can actually dull your blade. So to cut this citrus, I'm actually going to cut really thin rounds and use my serrated knife going back and forth, just like I did with the bread, to create nice, even slices. We have these cute little rounds that are evenly cut along all sides. So these lemon wheels are great for a garnish for a cocktail, or even putting it on top of fish or chicken when baking to add tons of flavor. So another way to cut citrus is in wedges, and you would use the serrated knife for that as well. So first I'm going to cut it in half and then place the cut side down, cut it in half again, and then cut it in half one more time. And you have a cute little wedge. Another cool way to use a serrated knife is to level your cakes so when you assemble them, they're not lopsided. You're going to insert the knife halfway through and then rotate the cake as you're cutting in a sawing motion. And then you can take the top off and have a nice level cake. So this layer will stack perfectly in a tiered cake. The last thing I want to talk to you about is caring for your knives. First off, make sure you wash and dry them really well after each use. The second is invest in either a knife block or a knife guard to keep them safe and sharp. So that about covers it. I left a few links below for my favorite type of knives. Leave your questions in the comments, and thanks so much for watching. Bye!
Oh, yes!